when to crack jokes, knowing when to push, knowing when to step back, knowing when to be feminine, knowing when to be really pushy bitch. Then, if they were really clear about that, because none of that's in the performance indicators, by the way, then you would actually get deans who knew what they were doing, as opposed to deans who wear really nice suits and are, well, that doesn't mean, by the way, that all deans who are men, or all deans who are women know these tasks anyway. So if they were clear about it, then maybe we could play.
This is actually a related question, but kind of the flip side, which is clearly this is going to be a discussion topic throughout the rest of the weekend. I think we've all experienced various aspects of this. I'm wondering if there are, and if not, should we make some new models for how to fix this? Because we're, my institution, which is an engineering school, the status quo is persistent, and everyone knows about it, and everyone hates it, and there isn't any way to fix it that's discussed or presented. It's just a lot of whinging, frankly. So I want to know if we can think about some strategic planning and some previous models that have worked, so that, like in my situation, it's like whoever's the loudest about how great they are gets the job, even if they don't have the qualifications to do it. Hence, a male person might be more inclined to be more loud about their accomplishments and their job. So, like, are there other systems we can put in place, the opposite of what Helen was describing, perhaps, would be one alternative? But I just feel like, are there other industries that have done, or other disciplines that have done this successfully emulated? That's my
Well, I think it's really important to look at this structurally, and I think that's what we're going to be doing over the next little while. And moving outside of our own individual pain and angst, and moving into looking at this as a structural problem of the way these things have been made and how.
But how can we then change?
Yeah,
I think that's really the question.
That is the question.
Like if I go back to my game, who's a woman, and say, why is everyone telling me that I just have to be a doormat because that's the way the school is, which is exactly what I'm being told. If I give her a solution, she'll do something about it, but no one's given her a solution.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to raise a point to follow on that unfortunately in those situations where it doesn't matter how many women are in your structure, because the structure's broken. So I'm at an art school which is full of amazing, remarkable women who continually battle, whatever level they are. Our president is a feminist. We have women the whole way through our food chain, but we fail at supporting women.
Oh, Nick, and then
we're going to shut it down after the two in the front. We're at time. No? Okay.
Hi.
Yes.
I just want to know, I don't want to hear this conversation, I just want to know, are you funding creative ideas right now?
Yes.
Yeah, what kind of money is
you're talking about $2,500
just to do the artwork and stuff?
just to whatever
Have
your
whatever
project,
idea.
I mean, if you're doing an ethnography, for example, it could be a little pilot study. If you're doing a design project, so you basically pitch the project, pitch what you can do with $2,500. If you do it, you come back and report on it, and then we hopefully are able to raise more funds to continue that, or hopefully to seek out additional funds.
And sometimes I see feminists being misogyny, which is also kind of depending on the idea that, you need men
a dirty word, but it's a dirty word that people like the right are reclaiming. So I think that if Sarah Palin could stand up with her gun and say I'm a feminist, like we might as well forget the whole argument, because we don't really want that as someone who's claiming this as a political agenda. So that's first. I think that one of the things that we have to do is refuse that as a speech act, as something that people react to. So I sort of put up my blocking powers, right? I just put up my shield and I'm like, okay, here we go. So that's one. Two is that, I mean, part of why I think, and we talked a lot about this in prepping for this and the talk and everything, and part of why I think that it comes up as a dirty word is because it's actually associated with activist work, with women working with and for one another. And when we do that, it kind of scares people because you can work to change things. And so I think that seeing it as a kind of collective activism is not necessarily a bad thing. Can I do anything about the person who's like, ooh, feminist, dirty word? No. Is it the case that sometimes every time one of us opens our mouth in different meetings across the university or in our other workplace where they'll go, oh yeah, she's going to make a point about women again, and they stop listening? It's true. But there's not really a lot we can do about that except for to keep speaking up and invite our friends to come along with us, because I think that there's really a lot of strength in numbers, and that's one of the things that we've really lost is that's been evacuated that was really useful about feminisms, all of those different kinds of feminisms, is that was collective action-oriented work. And we've somehow forgotten that. Like, we actually have to work together. I strategize with people before meetings if I know it's going to be contentious. And by people, I mean other women who I know are going to be on side with me. Talk about, strategic actions, and men. So I think that's how I'd answer that a little bit. I don't think we can do a lot about those people.
I actually have, because I know that I've been about 10% women, 20% women in my class and my group, I basically made it a point to brainwash all the boys. And so I actually am raising a generation of male feminist game designers, and along with the women who are already feminists when they got their brainwash, although not always. So I think that also raising the consciousness so that it isn't an us versus them, like
our male colleagues.
And one of my students last week said, do you realize how gender hypernormative you're being right now? And I'm like, yes. And they're all using the she pronoun in their thesis. So I feel like we need to also get it. What feminism means in the dictionary sense is that you believe that women should have equal rights to men. It doesn't mean you're a lesbian, it doesn't mean you're a man hater, it doesn't mean any of that. And I would imagine that most people, male or female, would say, oh no, I don't believe in equal rights for women. They would agree with that, but it's been propagandized as something else.
Yeah, and I would also say that very question is incredibly paralyzing.
Yeah.
And it was the same question that was being asked in media about 10 years ago, about looking at the number of women who were blogging, or just when blogging was a thing that women were doing, that said, I'm not a feminist, but. And it's as though sort of staving off all of that problematic, but then afterwards what they were actually articulating was a profoundly feminist view. And I think that, yes, it's terribly paralysing and individualising to make that a problem that we somehow can't address.
Yeah, and I don't think, so I sort of refuse the question. I mean, I just don't think it really is a question. I don't want it.
Well, it's kind of like saying, can we deal with racism? We just don't mention it all. Well, not really, no. And actually, why should we orient all our political work around people who, I mean, they've got the hate problem. It's like feminist equals cancer. Okay, what's the worst disease can be about cancer? What's the worst kind of human, feminist? Those are the stupid people. We can't deal with those. But the ones that you take to educate, we have people from a zillion years ago, like that used to be like unlearned privilege as lost. Learn to understand the ways in which your privilege has messed you and your life up. And there's no reason not to hope that that's a really realistic agenda for people, to see that their privilege has harmed not just other people but them. Those are the kinds of educational initiatives that we can get behind. But it is true that politically, it's insane for women to try to go it alone, which is why we need to organize and why we need to work together. Because one woman in a patriarchal structure, in a room full of men, or even in a room that lone voice is not existence. It's absolutely critical for us to reclaim the kind of mobilizing that was done many years ago, and to understand that this is not something whose time has gone. You know, feminism may have been grown less popular as a label, but sure as hell the patriarchy still lead it all. So I think we have some work to do in creating this.
Because you see an illusion that when women are equal in numbers, that there's equality, whereas the patriarchy is still status quo.
Exactly.
Okay, break.
Okay, we're done.